With me today is Jacqui Hawkins, and Jacqui spent 25 years in the law, including 12 years as Deputy State Coroner, leading high-profile inquests including Burke Street and veteran suicides. She was the first coroner to recommend a safe injecting room in Victoria. She later left the courtroom to study human behaviour and is now an empowerment coach and founder of Lit Within, helping midlife women and senior leaders navigate transition, burnout and identity beyond role. She recently wrapped up co-hosting That Day, a limited series podcast exploring extraordinary stories from women in midlife and the day that their life changed. Jacqui also serves on the boards of two not-for-profits, the Mist Foundation and Beautiful Bunch. Outside of work, she's at the beach, on a yoga mat, or lost in a book. So welcome, Jacqui.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk to you.
So excited to talk to you, and it's finally happening, which I'm so excited about.
It's taken a while, but we're here.
It has taken a while. So let's jump into, you reached one of the most respected legal positions in the country as Deputy State Coroner, and it was a goal of yours too.
Yeah.
So looking back, what did that role represent to you at the time, and who did you have to become to get there?
Yes, great question. I really looked up to the role because I had a career in law. So I started in criminal law and I had done defence and prosecution. And I had also worked in a private law firm. So I built my way up from senior associate to partner. And then I was like, but I really want to do something else. And then I saw the state coroner at the time, Her Honour Justice Jennifer Coate, who did the Royal Commission into child sexual abuse after her time as the state coroner. And I just thought, she is incredible and what she does is amazing. So I kind of put a photo of her on my wall and said, I want to be like her. Wow. So what I loved about being a coroner is that you investigate death, but the aim is to find any prevention opportunities. So if you can look at the whole circumstances of a death and potentially prevent that death occurring to other people, then you can make recommendations to government or other entities so they can put things into place so it doesn't happen again. So that was really, the prevention aspect was what I loved. And the investigation, I love investigating.
Yeah, right. And so the role was something, you know, that you had aspired to, and it's a massive role. Like you said, like in the introduction, you were on the case for the Burke Street massacre, which was massive. And, you know, as a bit of background, I saw you speak a couple of months ago now, and that was...
Yes, it's very difficult times. There's a lot of trauma, and it's vicarious trauma. And vicarious trauma means that you're actually not at the scene, or sometimes you are, but you're not like the AMBOs and the police officers administering the care and the help or whatever, but you're either looking at CCTV video, you're reading statements with details, you're looking at photographs. Everybody that came into the coroner's court was photographed and presented to the coroner on duty every day. And so you would see photos of the person as they came into the mortuary, because there's a mortuary at the back of the court. There's a court at the front and there's a mortuary at the back in South Bank. And so vicarious trauma is you're constantly viewing and witnessing and watching all of these disastrous things happen, from murder to car accidents, suicides, so many suicides, medical procedure deaths, anything that's not unexplained or unexpected would come into the coroner's court. So you can imagine the range of things that I saw. And there's a lot of trauma associated with that. I loved it. I loved helping families understand why their loved one died. That was the most important thing for me. And I loved thinking of the prevention opportunities, but also witnessing so much trauma and it's cumulative as well. So I think I told a story on the night that you saw me speak about my first night on call was when I saw Luke Batty. I had to go to that scene. It was my first night on call, and see, my voice is already choking up thinking about that experience. I went to the scene because police had shot his father, and so it was going to be a police contact death, and that's when coroners attended the scene. My voice, it gets choked up still.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I saw at that scene, you can't ever unsee. Yeah. So it's the cumulative trauma of that. And other people can do it for years, but I think mine had a time limit. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So from the outside, like you built this amazing career, and people looking in are like, oh, Jacqui, you know, she's reached the, you know, Deputy State Coroner. How amazing. But behind the scenes, things were starting to unravel for you. Like you talk about that cumulative trauma.
Yeah.
What was happening that no one else could see?
I think it was a combination of things. So I was also a mum to two young kids and married with a husband. And so you're doing this high-pressured, high-profile in the media job every day, and you're coming home and then walking into, Mum, like, I need some attention. Can you read me a story? Can we, you know, so I had to put my coroner hat, I had to leave it at the door as I walked in and to be present, which I wasn't always present because the phone was always on call. It just took a toll on people. You have to have a front. I call it a mask. So when I was at work or when I was going into the courtroom, I would like have a suit on. I'd put my coroner mask on and I'd walk into court and own the room, like, and command the respect that a judicial officer needs to respect. But at home, you know, I'd have kids crying or needing attention or, you know, life happens. And you have to I think I explained it when I was at work. I was good at work. And when I was at home, I was trying to be good. But it felt to me on the inside that I was being a shit mum when I was at work and I was being a shit coroner when I was at home. So I don't know if that makes sense. It was just difficult balancing them all.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so many women talk about that they feel like they're failing everywhere. And I, you know, like it's like that metaphor that you said. You put the cloak on when you get to work, and it's like this iron, you know.
Yeah, Superwoman. I can do this. Yeah.
Superwoman. And then all of a sudden it can't, but it has to come off at some stage.
Yeah.
Like you say, when you go home, and it's like you need to play a different role, and we just wear so many hats as women. So I think
we do.
Will definitely resonate with what you are talking about, you know, in their own situation. So there came a point where you realize, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that's an incredibly difficult decision, I suppose, realization, where you have spent decades building a career and something that you aspire to. So can you tell us about that moment and, you know, what gave you the courage to walk away?
Yes. Well, it was the hardest decision of my life, and it really comes down to a battle of my ego and my soul, if that at its most basic form. So my soul was telling me through journaling, meditation, yoga, breath work, especially when I was journaling, it would say, you need to leave. This is not going to serve you. You are not connected to yourself. You're unwell, you're looking tired, blah, 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 blah. Every day when I was journaling, it was like my own psychotherapist basically telling me, you know the cause of this, so do something about it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I've worked my ass off to get here. I have studied hard. It never came easy for me because I also was diagnosed with ADHD late in life as a 50-something-year-old woman. So I felt like, how can I just throw away this opportunity? People would give anything to have this role. This is the dream role I wanted. So it was just this tug of war between my soul and my ego. And at the time, I did have 6 months long service leave, and I did a yoga teacher training course. And that just, that connection to self just confirmed to me, oh, this is what it feels like to be well and to be happy and to have a regulated nervous system. Then I got a call saying, will you take the role of Deputy State Coroner? And then my ego's like, of course she will. Like, she deserves this. And don't be stupid. Don't worry about all that stupid yoga stuff. So I took it, the ego won. And within months, I knew my soul was screaming at me going, what have you done? I warned you about this. Like, you were on the right path and you chose your ego. So kind of now deal with it. And it was just really understanding the interplay of that. And I didn't really understand. I can talk about it now because I understand behavioral science and neuroscience and stuff. But at the time, I'm like, what is this? Yeah. It was just an incongruence or a misalignment. I can say these things now, but at the time, I couldn't actually put into words what they were. But yeah, it was just this misalignment with my soul. Yeah. And people don't really talk about their soul, but it's just a quiet wisdom within that speaks to us.
Yes. And you talked about, that unconsciousness when you were writing, like there's just like this stuff flowing out of you.
Yes. Sometimes I was holding the pen, but I'm like, where are these words coming from? I know it sounds bizarre.
Yeah.
But I have, in fact, I've got like 10 of these, about 15 of these journals, and I journal every day. And it's like having your own psychotherapist, basically.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, oh, yeah, the weather's sunny and blah, blah, boring. And then some days you are, you need to go and live your life's purpose and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? Who's writing this? It's a message. And I'd heard Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And I've watched and seen her on many things. And she does a practice every day called, it's her journaling practice. And she says, dear loves, what would you have me know today? And how can I be of service? And I've started doing that as well. And it's kind of like throwing a message out to the universe. What do I need to know? How can I be my best self today? And you wait for the pen to write. And then it writes. And it's actually a subconscious thing. It sounds bizarre. It sounds wacky, but it really works.
Yeah. And did that process help you walk away? Like
100%.
Say those words.
Yeah. It said you need to leave. This is why. This is your reality. You are not present. You are not living your best self. You're tired, dysregulated. My voice.
Yeah.
So it was sending me messages, and I'm like, what? What is this saying? Like, don't be stupid. It's my dream job. And so I would dismiss it until I couldn't any longer, until it just screamed at me. Something needs to change. And I always say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it was that day that I rang my boss and said, and he knew I was kind of struggling a little bit. And I said, I think I have to leave. And he said, don't be stupid, just have some leave. And I said, I've just come back from long service leave.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this anymore. My heart's not in it. And I tried really, really hard, but my soul was screaming. I keep saying soul, but it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I take my hat off to you for listening to your soul, because eventually, because, and it's really interesting how your voice goes funny when it takes.
I know, it really does. It's that trauma or that difficult decision.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to control that, but I can't. I'm like,
no. Your body reacting. It's like that was.
It's a memory.
For you. Yeah.
It's a memory that's just stuck in my throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So you made the decision to leave, and you left, as difficult as that was. And then you faced into breast cancer, which was another life-changing experience. Did that diagnosis change who you are? And what did you learn from that? I always think after my melanoma diagnosis, once you get through all the shock, There's so much learning that you get from facing into something like that.
That's so true. And my favorite person, Oprah, always says there's a lesson in every life challenge, basically. So I was asking myself those same questions. I think I'd already started to change and lean into who I was and what my purpose was before that. So when I got diagnosed last year, it was in September last year, I was completely blindsided. I'm like, what now? I've done what you wanted me to do, Sol. Like, I'm actually living the best life. What the hell? Why did you give me this? Like, what is the message here?
Yes.
But I had fallen into the same pattern of being busy and working and hustling and saying yes to everything and not having boundaries around things. And then I had to slow right down again and stop work completely. So for 6 months last year, I did not work. And I'm like, what is the goddamn lesson here? Seriously. And it was, you didn't learn last time. You were heading down a path last time and I had to put the brakes on. I'm doing it again to remind you that life is to be lived in flow. And I often think of the analogy, we spend our life going against the tide, like, you know, swimming and hustling, and it's all exhausting and really tiring. And then once you turn around and just start to go with the flow, things just float and opportunities appear and life just feels a little bit gentler and your nervous system can regulate. But it's still hard. It's a lesson I have to remind myself of every day when I journal. Like the amount of times I've written in capitals and bold, slow down. Like that is my message. And yes, I learned that lesson last year, but I do have to pull myself up sometimes because it's just this natural thing of me. I like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. Like, you know, I guess they're dopamine hits as well. But yeah, just when you do slow down, life just happens and it's not a struggle.
Yeah. Even when you said the word flow, it's just that the different dynamic of the word itself. It's just like flow, and it's like it's just gentler and
your
calmer.
body relaxes automatically. Yeah. That parasympathetic nervous system just kicks in and it's like, oh, okay, I feel that.
Yeah. That's right. And that's why, you hear a lot of stories of people who have burnt out and then they slow down for a little while and then they just get back into that same cycle because it is our society, and
it's a learned thing. Yeah.
It's a learned thing. And also depending on the culture that you're in, it's an expected thing.
Yeah.
And for A-type personalities and highly ambitious people, it's just something that you feel like you need to be doing to be successful. So it's really interesting that we need to change our dynamic.
You almost need to give yourself permission because we've been conditioned to work and to sit. I don't know if it's an 80s thing growing up in the 70s and 80s. Like you just weren't allowed to sit on the couch and do nothing. Out of the house, don't want to see you until dinner time, riding your bike. You never sat still.
Yes.
And so I think it's conditioned in us.
Yeah.
Especially women in our age group.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
One thing I loved that you talk about is glimmers.
Yes.
And, when we're going through challenging times, so rather than focusing on the bad things, there's those little glimmers of hope that you can see everywhere. So can you explain what that is and why they've become such an important way of how you live?
Yes, well, glimmers sort of came to me. I have a group online coaching program and it's called the Spark Lab. And I thought glimmers, Spark Lab, that works. And so the glimmers are pulling yourself out of the doldrums or the triggers. You know how someone can talk to you and you just get completely triggered and your jaw gets tight and you just like tense up, your whole body tenses. A glimmer is once again that flow, opening up and getting really relaxed into that state and looking at a beautiful flower. I'm looking out the window now and I'm seeing a magnolia starting to blossom and I think how beautiful that is. Or I went for a walk this morning and saw the sunrise and oh my God, it was pink and beautiful in the sky. And it's reminding yourself that there's beauty everywhere. There's glimmers. There's a rainbow. Yesterday I saw a rainbow. I'm obsessed with rainbows because I think that's a sign from the universe that I'm doing something right. It's just a moment in time to remind yourself that it's not all as doom and gloom as it seems. And they're everywhere and they're every day. And they could be a smile from a baby when you're like in a line in the supermarket or having a glass of wine with a friend. They're anything. You can make a glimmer out of anything. Maybe not a dog turd. I don't know. I don't know. But you can find them. I'm sure you could find one in a dog turd. Anyway.
I'm sure you could. You could turn that into something.
Yeah, but they are. It's like gratitude. When you journal and you gratitude, you do a gratitude journal. You're thinking of the positives and you're grateful for the life that you have. So it glimmers that kind of reminder that life is just continuing, whether we're in the doldrums or we're enjoying it and noticing. Yeah. Noticing is the important part of a glimmer.
Yes, yeah. that is where you're looking, sort of where that frame of mind is or your lens.
Yeah, it's right there, but did you notice?
Yeah.
And it's teaching you how to be present as well.
Yeah, that's right. So you are really, like, as you're talking, it's very evident that you're very in touch with your spirituality, and that's something that's really important to you now through your yoga, and you teach people how to connect with that side of themselves now too, don't you?
Yes.
Which is so incredibly different from what you were doing.
Totally.
So now
totally.
it's like polar opposite.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, and I'm sure people think I'm crazy, but I have lent into that side of things. There's no surprises that the ancient wisdom from the Hindus to the Buddhists, they've been practicing this stuff for thousands of years. And now we're all just cottoning on going, meditation, breathwork. It's been happening for thousands of years. This is not new. It's just that not everyone, people are waking up to this. And when you do the practices, and they are practices, so I've kind of ritualized them into daily practice, because when you do it, it's just so easy to connect in straight away. And it's journaling, it's meditation, it's a walk on the beach without, listening to a podcast. Sorry, Julie, but I do listen to podcasts as well. It's really learning to turn down the noise and connect inside. And every client that comes to see me, I say to them, I think you already know the answer. They raise the question. I'm like, but you know the answer. And they're like, what? What do you mean? And I said, the wisdom is inside you. That is the tool, one of the tools I use when clients come to see me. I really do believe they already possess the answers within them. Yeah. And they search it everywhere. I'm going to go and see an energy healer. I'm going to see a Reiki master. I'm going to go and see a psychologist. They're seeking external validity everywhere. It's like the book, The Alchemist. And then it's this hero's journey. You're looking everywhere. But then the answers you ultimately find are always within. Yeah. And that's so that's a lot of the things I do with my clients, just teach them how to connect. And they're like, what do you mean I have to get quiet? I don't know how to do that. And I say, you just have to be still and turn down the noise and turn off the phone and turn off the distractions. And they'll say, but that makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I'm like, that's exactly why you need to do it. Exactly. Because the answers are there. And Oprah, my favorite lady, always talks about whispers.
Yeah.
And they are whispers, and they're whispers, and they're telling you, and we don't hear it. We hear the ego and the loud, you should do this and you should do that, and you're not good enough you're not good enough at this. And really, the answers are there.
Yeah.
Very deep inside.
That. I love that. So if someone listening today feels, really successful on paper, but deep down they know something's not working, and there's so many people in that place right now.
Yeah.
What's the conversation that you hope they'll be having with themselves after hearing your potty today?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to blow up your life. I think midlife is the perfect opportunity for us to reflect. And the first thing is get really curious. Why am I feeling like this? Why does my chest feel like I've got an elephant sitting on it? Why am I getting really churned up in the tummy as I drive into the car park in the city at work?
Yeah.
Why did I shout at my kids this morning?
Yeah.
Really, the intentionality of actually questioning yourself and your motives, the answer is in there. So it's this self-awareness. But if you're too busy to have time for yourself and to reconnect, you're going to miss the signs. You're going to miss the opportunity to grow and learn. And so getting curious, getting quiet, connecting with the wisdom within is easier than you realize. And you don't have to go and buy a course, although we love working with people, Julie, and we're happy to help people connect with that. But really, if they just got quiet, the answers are there. But some people, it's remarkable how clients just say, I don't know how to do that. Yeah. What do you mean? They're really confused when I say connect to self.
Yeah.
Until, we do some meditation or we do some breath work. And before I start many of my coaching sessions, I'll just say, let's just have a few deep breaths. Yeah. And just to make the person present. And they're like, oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I feel really different now.
Yeah.
We're different, yeah.
They're more present.
Love it, Jacqui. I'll be sharing all of the links in terms of where people can get in contact with you. Thank you so much for making the time for being part of Leading You and sharing your incredible story. I know so many people are going to resonate with that. So thank you for being part of Leading You.
And thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. And you're doing amazing things with your potty too. So keep going and keeping that message out there about how to lead.
Thank you.
Thank you.